Tonight we're going to talk about overcoming the struggles of African marriages in the diaspora or abroad, which is the same. And I think, as Apostle just said, one of my books is on this topic. And honestly speaking, it's becoming a best hit. Everybody wants to buy that book as soon as they see the topic, especially because I've never seen anyone write a book about African marriages, so it was just a bold decision to do it. but it's good for anyone. I mean, whether you are married or not married, it will be good for you. We're talking about what men and women want. We talk about the weather. Hey! We're talking about expectations. We're talking about loss and grief. Really? Loss and grief in marriage? Yes, we will. And then we also talk about a little bit about the effect of stress on our marriages. So let's go. So my Bible text that I'm going to use is for this one. I like this one. A feast is made for laughter. Wine makes life merry. And money is the answer for everything. Wow, that's bold. That's a bold statement. Okay. The next one, Ecclesiastes 5:10. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever has wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. Wow. This is powerful. Let's see whether we can have more. Okay. And 1 Timothy 6:9-10, these are all very, very popular scriptures that we all know. Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. Listen to this one. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, that exclude people in Stockholm and Sweden, have some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Okay. So I said, so this one is different one. Ecclesiastes 9:16. So I said, wisdom is better than strength, but the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are no longer heeded. Okay, thank you. So 2 years ago, I had a survey on what makes husbands happy. What makes husbands happy? And so I circulated this across the United Kingdom. It excludes those in Sweden. Maybe Sweden's will be different. And this is the results that came up. The top 6. I mean, there were different about the top 6 for men. And this is what came up. So the number 1 was respect from my wife and my children. Number 2, friendship with my wife. Number 3, sex. Number 4, financial support. Number 5, time with my wife. Wow, friendship and time, okay. And then number 6, wife making me a priority. I was wondering, why everything about men is about their wives, Everything of men is about their wives. It tells you how much men really cherish their wives. And that really struck a chord with me. Let's look at what I also did one also for the women. And let's see what the women also. Oh, sorry, this is before we get that. I also did one for the fears of men. What are men's greatest fears? What are their greatest fears in life? One is lack of money. So you can understand why men will work so hard, because lack of money is their biggest fear. The number 2 is that poor health. They fear that one day they will be ill, they will be sick, and they will maybe become so fragile. Number three, you see, consider this one. The third one is erectile dysfunction. It's another fear of men. What make them happy? The third one was what? Sex. And then here, third one is their erectile dysfunction. So the three Sex and erectile dysfunction are maybe correlate. There's a correlation there. Okay. And then number 4 is loss of job. Of course, they want money. So without job, they'll be very, very afraid. And then number 5 was children deserting them. They fear that one day their children will not like them. They will desert them. They will all go somewhere. That's what we call empty nest. And I was really surprised. I never thought about that. And then the 6th one is divorce. The big letter D. Divorce. Okay, that's for the men. We will link all this into African marriages abroad. So just stay with me. And then what women also want in the current dispensation, with the first in the descending order, the number 1 thing that women, and this one was also one of the surveys that I also conducted in the UK. And so the number 1 thing that women says they really want in this dispensation is friendship and communication with their husbands. So the friend and communication with their husbands. And that was really, really surprising to me. Really, they want to be friends with us. That's awesome, right? The number 2 is that they want a spiritual leader, headship. They want a man that will be there. That will be like a covering, a head, the high priest in the home, the one that will lead them in prayer or maybe devotion. That was 2nd. Wow. And then the 3rd one was quality time with their spouses. Wow. I'm sure that's why Apostle Ben is always around Mama Ekwe, because Apostle Ben knows that Mama Ekwe need quality time. So Mama Ekwe always prioritizing time with her. So quality time. And then the 4th one, which is really surprising as well, women also want men who are emotionally intelligent. They don't want a man that will always come and say, yes, where should I take you? Well, this weekend, where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? They want the men to be able to, look at them and say, you know what, honey, today I'm taking you to maybe a restaurant. Today I have this gift for you. They don't want to be asked, what do you want on your birthday? Study me and then tell me, whatever you give to me, it's okay, but don't ask me what I want. Just intelligently, just make a decision and present it to me. That's emotional intelligence. When I'm angry, you must see that I am angry. You don't need to ask me, honey, are you angry? Don't you see my face, my frowns, my voice? Can't you see that I'm actually angry? And that is also very important. And then the 5th one, they want affection and affirmation. Affection and affirmation. And that is very common. Then the 6th one is they want gifts. The 7th one, they want domestic support. All this one, sex hasn't come. I would say, what is it? Someone is checking, what is sex? What is sex? It's not coming. So just look down the pecking order, down the line, right? So domestic support. Really? Even domestic support, even before sex? Yes, you heard me right. And then from there, they want the men who are physically attractive. Really? Do women care about the physical appearance of men? Yes, they do. So they also want. And then in that pecking, just down the bottom, number 9 was sex. And then even maybe the greatest surprise was money. The last on the list, in the top 10 was, the 10th one was money. Seriously. Someone will say, no, this one, but it's not true. But it is the truth. Right. So look at this carefully, and then as we go into African marriages abroad, just look at this, right? And this was not conducted in Ghana; it was conducted in the UK, which is also part of Europe, which you are also maybe part. We are all part of it. So does that really tell you something? What men want and what women want in this part of the world? I hope that it speaks to you. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of moving abroad. Wow. The good, the bad, and the ugly side of it. I did really enjoy Ghana, right? I really, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed living in Ghana. And Before Phyllis and I moved in, we were okay. I had my own business. I had opened my own medical laboratory. I'd run for about 4 years. We're doing well in Medina market, working for Pentecost Hospital. And then I decided to come and sort of give myself an uplift in terms of education. And thinking that as soon as I finish, I'm going back. And when I go back, I will carry on with my business. And then we will do well. And then we will enjoy life. So I left my wife and I left my children. You know. And then I came here. And 2 months down the line, I realized that the weather was so bad and I was so cold. And I was only about 4 years, I think maybe, because I married in 1999. And came over in 2002. So that means I was only married for 3 years, right? And then I came in. So my marriage was still, in my own eyes, was still very fresh. And I was enjoying my wife as well. And then I came into the cold and then all this, my God. But when I came in, there were so many things that I find them amazing. Oh, the cleanliness. We were in Bristol. The place was beautiful, was nice. Internet was available. Whilst I was in Ghana at the time, to get even access to internet, you have to struggle. And I came to UK. And even at the city center, internet was free. And you can just log in everywhere you go. Nah. I go to university, we go there, computers were all over the place. Meanwhile, when I go into Legon or any part of universities, the universities in Ghana, I'll intentionally go in there. And one computer, people are queuing for just one computer to do some coursework. And then here I come in the UK, computer after computer, you just choose. You can do mini money and then select whatever you want. And then you can just log in. Beautiful. I remember my first day, myself and my friend, who is also Ghanaian, we've gone for practicals, biomedical science practical. And then when we went there, they set up the place, pen, paper, graphs, pencils. And so when we finished that, my friend said, Master, we should pick some of this. Maybe next time, by the time we come, there'll be no paper, there'll be no pens. So we bugged them into our bags and then we took them away. The next week we came in, they have loaded it again. Pen, paper, graph sheet, everything. Because my country, there was no way you go for practical sessions and then you go and they have laid all this for you for free. Never happened to me. So we packed again. And then the third time, then we went again, they still there. I said, we might as well stop. It looks like it's going to be free forever. And it was free forever indeed. So you got all this and say, wow, this is amazing. And I like it. Food was cheap. I remember I used to tell my wife, when I was in Ghana, to buy one shoe, I have to wait until end of the month. And even end of the month, you can't buy shoe every day. But when I check the money that I had, it looks like every week I can buy a shoe. Every week I can buy a shoe, I can buy a shirt, I said, wow, this indeed is a land that is full of milk and honey. So I was enjoying it. But what I was missing was my wife. So straight away, within 6 months, Phyllis was here. I said, Phyllis, I can't live here all by myself. It's either you come or I come back. So right away, by the grace of God, I put my documents through and the Ghana embassy agreed that Phyllis should, come over. And so she came in. One thing that she didn't come with, when we were coming, I thought we've packed everything and we were coming. But I didn't realize that there were a few things that we missed. And I'm going to talk to you about them. A few things that we missed. So UK was good. And education-wise, I never even got a referral in any of my subjects from even undergraduate to even master's degree, and I never got even referral. Instead, it was so easy for me compared to what we were used to in Ghana, And then marriage. One thing that I really enjoy about when Phyllis came over was the fact that, you can cuddle any day, any time. Because in Ghana, it was so hot that sometimes we lived in Medina on top of a building. Sometimes we have to go to the building on top of the building, which is actually just floor, but not having got any, has not been roofed. So we have to go and lie there and just get some fresh air. It was so hot. But here, and so intimacy sometimes is a challenge. But you come here, so nice. You can sleep. Nobody knocks on your door. The quietness of the environment, the sleeping pattern was good. The food was good. So it was nice. It was nice. And I enjoyed it. So there's a good part and there are bad parts and there are some ugly parts. And I've enjoyed life. But then the subtle racism that we faced every now and then. I remember I was working in those early days. I was working in Parcel Force, which is also part of, it's a Royal Mail, which is a mail sorting center, where a white man threw a parcel at me. Oh, for no provocation. And that guy even got sacked. And I felt so bad for him for even getting sacked because of those subtle, racism. So all this we had to face. Fellas had to face all these challenges. But there were other real things that are subtle, they are silent, that you don't see, that come in your marriage. Unless that's what we're going to do, we're going to talk about. So the joys of love abroad is beautiful when everything is working. The joys are, I'm sure that some of you, for me, one of the things that is so easy to do when I was in Ghana, to be able to say we are going to a big time restaurant was tough. You have to save money. But here, by the grace of God, Phyllis and I can any day, anytime, we can walk into any restaurant, just like Mama Akuya said, her favorite restaurant. I won't mention it, but it's so nice. You can drive through it and then just get served, or you go and sit down and with you and your children and get served. Beautiful, awesome. But in Ghana, to go to East Legon or sit down for anyone to serve you, that means it's a class act. You have to wait. So all these things are some of the things that we enjoy in this part of the world. And I've enjoyed my time in the UK. But marriage hasn't come that easy. Of course, even if you live in Ghana, you live in Zambia, you live in Zimbabwe, marriage has never been easy. But then when you travel abroad, there are other added layers of uneasiness, discomfort. And those are some of the things that I would like to talk to you about. So the silent epidemics, what no one told you. When we had COVID, people died. But one thing I have realized is that there are silent epidemics that are killing more marriages than COVID did to human beings that nobody even knows. Especially for Christians. There are so many silent things that we face each day that are really destroying our marriages, but some of us have got no idea, no clue what they are. And that's what we are here for. And now I'm still bringing this one because everything that we are going to do will still center around this pyramid. Yesterday I was telling Redden about one flesh. Beloved, marriage is all about one flesh. When you travel abroad, other things are going to help you to become one flesh. But other factors are also going to make sure that you will never become one flesh in your marriage. Think about it. Once you are here, that what we call facilitating factors. Things that will help you to become one flesh. And one of them is what we are doing. Okay? Seminars helping us so that we can build our relationship, intimacy. But there are other factors as well which are inherently in the place where we live, which wage wars against us so that you will never become one flesh with your partner. And even if you try, you can try, but you have to work very hard. Think about them. What are some of the things that ensure that you and your spouse will never become one flesh? Because as soon as you become one flesh, right, it is the ultimate. And because if you don't become one flesh, you cannot become naked and you cannot become unashamed. The devil fears couples becoming one flesh. It's the number one enemy of the devil. The devil fears that couple, a wife and a husband, become united, become so wedded and become so buried in each other. Because the Bible has said the people is one. And whatever they want to do, they can do. Devil fears cooperation, teamwork, and alignment. He fears it. So for tonight, if you don't hear anything from me at all, whatever that you are facing in your marriage is not just because the two of you are bad. It's because there is an attack on the two of you becoming one. So if it's about stress, it's all to prevent you from becoming one flesh. If it's about lack of intimacy, it's all to fight you so that you don't become one flesh. If it's about family interferences, it's all because it's fighting you so that you don't become one flesh. It's tough. And that's why this pyramid is so profound. So that if you can cross one flesh, you have done. Because living, everybody can live. Cleave, people can cleave. Once pastor, apostle prays for your marriage, that's it. But to become one flesh, it is tough. So there will be so many obstacles along the way, and more so when you travel abroad. The systems that are here are designed to make sure that marriage don't even thrive. The systems. Government interferences. The government interferences alone. I remember when Phyllis and I moved in, or we migrated, and Phyllis was pregnant. And I was a student. A student, instead of me sleeping well and concentrate and focus on my studies, I was doing other things that those who are non-students were doing, right? So Phyllis became pregnant. But I was blaming her. Why? You've come in here. We are here to study, and then you become pregnant. So at that point, we were in a shared accommodation. We needed to, Phyllis was obviously close to delivery, so we needed a new accommodation. We went to the council for maybe to help us get a flat. They asked Phyllis whether she's married and say yes. They say, okay, if you are married and you have a husband, we are afraid we cannot help you. So the woman said, the only way we can help you is if you say you don't have a husband. Then we can find accommodation for you. That one will have to do that. So Phyllis and I walked out of the place and I said, Tafiakwa, I would rather sleep on the floor than to take this as a bait. What am I going to do? What am I going to tell other people? No way. So the two of us, we stuck together. Honestly speaking, Phyllis had to go to Glasgow because there's a friend that lived there who had also had a child, and the mother had come from Ghana. So so I have to put Phyllis on a train. Even the flight says no, it's too much advance. They won't allow us to fly. And so I said, okay, we'll take a train and we'll travel all the way to Glasgow. That's where Phyllis had to actually have our last child, because we didn't accept the fact that we are not divorced. We are not separated. We are married, and that is who we are. We are inseparable. We cannot be separated. So I took that, and then I'll all by myself, and from time to time, I'll go to Glasgow, and I will go. Because some of these institutions are designed, I don't know, for some reason, I thought they will rather help you, facilitate you to become one flesh. Unfortunately, they are waging war against some of us. And so tonight, if you are not one flesh, don't worry. Tonight, I pray that may God help you to, open your eyes to understand that the systems are not there it's not there for you. They are there. But if you take them, be careful. It can be a bait. Some of them can be a bait, big time bait. Okay. So some of the invisible enemies of love is what I just told you about the systems that are in place. You might not know. But as soon as you accept some of those things, you are physically declaring that you are not married. But once you open your mouth and you say it, right? There are so many things in my life that I have said them, maybe either casually, without even meaning it, but it come to pass. And have made me realize that as a man of God, the words that I speak, I have to be very careful. So can you imagine then if I go and sign something even at the court, at the council, and say that I'm actually not married, or Phyllis go and say, I'm not married, and then for that reason you take that. So these are invisible enemies. So as soon as you say you are not married, the enemy then hook onto that. Oh, you say you are not married, right? So that means that straight away you are creating a loophole in your marriage. And so straight away, there's a gap. there's a gap. Then the enemy will jump into it. And I've seen that happen over and over. A lot of elders, a lot of deaconess are struggling big time. And I know the poverty levels. I know that situations are tough. But some of these things, we have to be very mindful. They are there as if they are freebies. But spiritually, they may have consequences. And these are some of the things. So once we accept more of those things, then definitely we have invited the devil into our marriage abroad, and they can cause a lot of havoc. And I can understand, and I pray to God, especially those without papers, may God come to your aid. It is tough in this country. It is tough. And all of us have been through them. It is tough. Not everybody have had it the same way I've had it. Some people have to travel through maybe Morocco to here before you came here. It is tough. And I don't blame anybody at all. And that is why we have a system. And I believe that the church must have a system in place to support everyone. Wherever they come from, we need to have a system that will support everyone. Some of you too, your visas are not even right, and you have to take so many jobs and so many things. To live abroad is not easy. It's not easy. And all this bring an untold hardship and stress on all of us, and especially your marriage as well. So the invisible enemies, I want you to just sit down and then just reflect. What are some of the things that actually, either willingly or unwillingly, I have actually brought on myself? Is there a way out? May God have mercy. And I believe that God is gracious. God is merciful. Even when we make mistakes, our God is merciful. We have all made several mistakes, but we always pray that may God make grace turn it even in our favor.